Internships can be a diving board to great opportunities for college students. However, students are often unable to navigate their experiences effectively, not recognizing the extent of their own skills. Trina Harding, an internship coordinator at Brigham Young University, has seen this firsthand.
When students begin experiential learning, especially an internship experience, they often don't have a strong sense of their skill set. They haven't had the opportunities to recognize the skills that they have and the ways that they can be applied. It requires a shift in thinking to be able to look at their skill set in a new light.
This shift in thinking can progress naturally through effective reflective writing, what Trina refers to as narrative reflection.
As students start to reflect on the work they're doing and what they're able to contribute to a workplace setting, they do start to see the connections to the academic work they've done on campus.
This type of recognition can be facilitated through effective writing prompts.
Reflection comes more organically as they get into the work. As you ask them to think back on what they've been doing, how they feel they've grown, students start to see those connections themselves. When you're creating prompts, it's easy to be too open-ended and say something like, write what you're thinking, write what you're feeling. The opposite end of the spectrum would be a prompt that leaves the student trying to guess what the professor wants them to say, which is not going to create meaningful learning for the student. If you can guide their thinking somewhere in the middle, giving them several options about how to think about their experience, students can find their own meaning. But if it's too far on either end, they can struggle, or it becomes too much of a checkpoint exercise.
Through responding to these personalized writing prompts, students internalize their experiences and better understand what they are learning.
If you talk about metacognition with reflective writing, being able to step back and ask, what did I learn? What did I do? That's one step. Narrative reflection writing then takes them to a more personally owned place. You understand what you've been through on an even deeper level because you've thought about it and talked about it, and then you kind of own it because you make it part of your story, part of who you are.
This personally owned place that Trina speaks of is the sweet spot where experiential learning opportunities can transform students' education. This process of reflection and implementation, followed by further reflection, prepares them with skills for life after college.
As part of the human experience, we're creating this story in our minds, and we're the protagonist going through it. If we can harness that natural instinct within us to use that storytelling process to help us learn about ourselves and our experiences, that's a lifelong skill we can use, whether we're coming upon new information in an academic setting or a work setting, or facing a personal challenge that's causing us to stretch. That storying process can help us to turn those experiences into internal knowledge that we recognize we have and know how to share or talk about.
As the protagonists in their own narrative reflections, students are able to recognize their professional skills, articulate them for others, and transfer them to future opportunities.